Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto and Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 80. And today I want to talk to you guys about why, as we're heading into the time skip, Sumire might actually be the one who has it the hardest when it comes to playing the role of double agent and working from within Konoha to stop Kawaki and do so in a way that doesn't get herself killed. In fact, her situation is one that is befitting of her character, and it goes all the way back to her initial introduction in the series itself, which is playing the role of a spy, hiding behind a public face and plotting her enemy's downfall. But this time it's more daunting of a challenge than ever before, and it's not because Kawaki's strong enough to break her in half with a single punch, but this time it's because she's backed into a corner that I don't see enough people actually talking about. Sumire is going to have to put front and center the very thing that Kunoichi are actually trained for, which is using their feminine charm and their feminine nature in order to take advantage of their enemy to get intel and positioning that their male counterparts can't do under most circumstances. Sumire is going to have to pretend that she's in love with Kawaki because she has to maintain the appearance that she's been placed under the effects of Ada's shinjutsu. She has to maintain the appearances, otherwise she gets on Kawaki's radar, and Kawaki right now is not above eliminating someone who stands between himself and his goal of killing Boruto. We saw how quickly he moved to kill Sarada right before Boruto stepped in. Sumire right now is playing a high stakes game of life and death. The beauty in this is that it both allows for Sumire to show that she's grown from the first arc where she tried to hide in the village and play the role of double agent but was ultimately sussed out by both Mitsuki as well as Sai in the Anbu Black Ops. But even jumping ahead in time, even Amado was able to catch on to her working for Shikamaru to get the information to give back to Shikamaru. The other thing that makes this work is this is clever enough of a situation that it makes the opportunity for Kishimoto to showcase something that Samurai 8 actually showed, which is the improvement that he has in writing female characters and a better understanding of how to craft romantic elements without feeling like, by his own words, needing someone like Neji to die to have two characters to have an excuse to get closer together to begin falling in love. We have a chance to explore the concept that exists, which is that lies are an exceptional form of love, and that a lie can require so much investment to maintain that it leads to the lines between reality and insanity blurring, because you don't know where you begin and where the lie actually ends. We've seen from anime interactions of Sumire and Kawaki that there are some similarities between the two, and she understands the character in a way that Boruto hasn't been able to understand until recently. That does give her a bit of an edge when it comes to her mission that is going to be pretending to love Kawaki, but where it gets tricky is her own heart. She herself is in love with Boruto. It's an open secret. Between the anime hammering it home and the manga having people like Kawaki and Katasuke both point out her feelings, everyone is going to expect to be head over heels for Kawaki because of the shinjutsu. She's going to have to simultaneously maintain her current habits in the form of her tendencies she has towards Boruto by applying them to Kawaki, while breaking her old habits and how she acted towards Kawaki, which requires taking a similar approach as someone using Fume to address their bad habit, which I'm proud to say is going to be the sponsor of today's video, Fume, because they look at the problem of bad habits in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of being drastic or extreme, just take the bad out of your bad habit. Fume is an innovative award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air, and instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses natural, delicious flavors. You don't have to be a genius like Boruto to get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy, and it makes replacing your bad habit as easy as Naruto found a way to talk no jutsu Zabuza. Your Fume comes with an easy to use adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while you're breaking your habit. Best of all, you got plenty of options for cores to choose from raspberry lemon to orange vanilla, both of which not only smell amazing but they slap, especially the raspberry lemon. That's full body lemonade with a hint of berries inside of it. There's nothing better than using a super flavorful raspberry lemon core while relaxing, where you're reading some manga and enjoying your Fume by turning pages and playing with the smooth wood on your Fume and adjusting the airflow with the simple twist. Stopping is something that we've all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume by accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up one of the journey journey packs today. Head over to tryfume.com/NarutoExplain or scan the QR code and use the code NarutoExplain to get 10% off your journey pack today. That's tryfum.com and use my promo code NarutoExplain to save an additional 10% off your order today. This is going to lead to a dangerous situation for Sumire because this has potential to go 3 different ways with different degrees of fallout. Scenario 1 is that Kawaki catches on to the fact that Sumire is pretending to like him because he picks up on something that shows that Sumire's behavior is disingenuous. We know that Kawaki is very perceptive, so this is something possible. So that could lead to Kawaki taking Sumire into a back room somewhere, testing her out to see where her loyalties actually really lie, and then pumping that big black rod inside of her after a quick conversation and pulling it out after her fluids are all over and her body collapses in the same way that Naruto and Sasuke did when Jigen shoved his black rods inside of them. At some point, he could seal her away to stay out of the picture and have those black rods inside of her to cut off her ability to mold chakra and just use Ada as an excuse for why Sumire is missing. Have Ada give a false statement on where Sumire actually is. The other thing this opens the door for is Sumire actually ends up falling in love with him. This is twisted, but it's not something crazy. Someone telling a lie well enough that they start to believe it, and just based off of the reality and the relatability that Sumire has, where she knows that feeling of being an outsider, of being angry and misguided, her heart can change if she sees more to Kawaki during the time she's pretending to be in love with him. And because she knows the truth of why he is the way that he is, she might end up falling in love with him. We've seen romances pop up in shonen with way less groundwork than this, and the interactions we've seen in the anime could pay off for that, because it will be the first time someone who understands Kawaki is able to get him to fully change his mind on his mistaken belief that he is nothing, that he's trash, that he's garbage, that he's basically the used condom you throw in the trash can after the fact. He was brainwashed into that line of thinking by Card, and Amato exploited that feeling to make him feel like he needed the karma seal and make him crave that power of the karma seal. Kar means husk and Kawaki means dry or parched. The dry boy raised inside of a husk, being filled by Sumire, the girl with water release who can get him wet and parch his dryness, basically parch his thirst. It will be both symbolic and it'll be poetic when you think about it, especially when you consider the fact that water is associated with healing. The third thing that this does is that it opens up a conflict with Ada. Now, this is where I'm most interested. We've been told that Sarada and Sumire are supposed to take on Ada if at some point she ever becomes viewed as a threat to the village. However, I've always maintained I believe the narrative is actually set up for Sarada to give Ada the one thing she actually wants, which is a genuine friendship and not something fake. But Sumire catching feelings for Kawaki could lead to open conflict. So that too could be a situation where there is conflict if Ada uses her Shinrigan and realizes that Sumire is playing Kawaki. While Ada makes it clear that she does like Kawaki, she's also implied that she knows it's a mere infatuation. It's not something she truly understands. It's something I've said for a few years now. I think that she only loves Kawaki because while she was inside of that chamber, by her own words, Kawaki made her heart flutter. Basically, Kawaki provided her with an exciting experience that she hadn't felt before, and it caused her to fall in love with the idea of who Kawaki was, not actually Kawaki. Basically, she's acting like a teenager and really taking it a step further. She acts like a lot of grown women. They value experiences a lot more than other stuff in my experience. Taking it a step further, I've made it a point to say that I really like Ada's character. I like her character a lot. There are elements to her character that remind me of my favorite Chainsaw Man character, Makima. I won't go into spoilers, but I will say as a side note, Makima did absolutely nothing wrong. I won't stand for any Makima slander here on this channel or my KRYPTONIAN Saiyan channel, but what we saw in Boruto's manga right before the time skip is something that really shows something that I said during the initial review chapters of Ada, which is that Kawaki might be turning Ada off and she might be disgusted with him in the way that he's acting like a coward in his pursuit of Boruto. But she didn't exactly stop things either. She went along with Kawaki's request despite knowing that what she was doing was wrong, because she wanted to find a way to be of value to Kawaki. Her not using her Shinrigan to find Boruto, it came with a condition that he stay away from Konoha, and if he ever returned, then all bets would be off. She only made that agreement because she felt bad for what she did with the shinjutsu. It was an unintended consequence. It was outside of her control. That was her way of trying to make the situation right. But the idea of her continuing to work to seek the affection of Kawaki, it's still there. And Ada has shown that she does a lot of things on a whim. She felt bad in that moment, and so she apologized and gave Boruto a lifeline. Ada's mood can change, and if it pans out that way, we're gonna have Ada ultimately reveal that Sumire is lying to Kawaki. Assuming that Ada catches on to what Sumire's doing, you would have to think she knows that Sumire is immune to the shinjutsu because of what she can do with her Senrigan, but if she sees Kawaki's being manipulated, that might be a red line for her. Sumire's situation really reminds me of a scenario that I heard one of the former FBI agents who broke up one of the big mafia families in New York talk about on the Patrick Bet-David podcast over on the Valuetainment channel a while back, which is one of the guys that was speaking basically came across like he got in so deep with this undercover job that he not only formed attachments to the people that he was lying to, where he was feeling bad about what he was doing, but he also didn't want to leave that mafia lifestyle and the luxuries that it provided, and it took him a long time to adjust back to being a regular guy driving a minivan with his kid in it and waiting in line at a restaurant versus driving a six-figure car and getting a private service at a restaurant without having to pay for anything. Going undercover the way that Sumire is about to, it actually comes with a lot of risk. Enough so I really wanted to make a separate video talking about this with you guys in order to see what you guys' thoughts are. Do you guys think that we might see Sumire catching feelings for Kawaki because of how deeply she's going to be going in? While you think that over, click here to watch these other Naruto Explain videos.